Hey everybody, Mark Agnesi here for Gibson TV. And today, I'm in Nashville, Tennessee, outside the home of my friend and boss, Cesar Gueikian. Now, Cesar has been an avid guitar collector for years, but since becoming the president of Gibson brands, that collection has grown exponentially. Now, we've looked at a lot of rock star collections on this show, but today, we're gonna see what the guy who's got Ted McCarty's old job is holding. What you're about to see may shock you. This is The Collection with Cesar Gueikian.
What's up, Mark?
Dude, what's up?
How you doing, man?
How you been, man?
Welcome back.
Oh, thank you for having us over today.
Yeah.
I'm ready to look at some guitars. You've got some new stuff.
Some things new, some things old.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. When did that get here?
That's also been a recent acquisition.
Tell me a little bit about this thing.
Yeah, this is a piano from 1928. So the wood has been making music since 1928.
So the original shell.
Yeah.
The shell.
That's it. And then inside is a brand new piano. So this shell went back to Steinway, and then they built a new piano, preserving the wood, preserving the shell. Again, you know, I love that story. You know, the history of it, and the fact that it's been making music for so many decades. So it was the one when we tried it and we saw it, and you hear the story of it, that it's from 28.
Yeah.
You kind of fall in love with the whole story, and then you hear it, and that's it. It's magical.
Wow. Wow. We haven't even gotten to the guitars yet, man. What a way to start the day. We heading upstairs?
Let's go see some guitars.
All right, let's do it. So where does this whole guitar journey begin for you?
Well, I grew up around a guitar.
It was in the house.
It was in the house. My dad played this classical Spanish guitar, and so it was always around. He played a couple of chords and also played a lot of his record collection constantly, so music was always in the house. And he would play Tom Petty and a little bit of the Beatles and the Stones, maybe a little Led Zeppelin, but he had this big record collection, and I was always intrigued by what he wasn't playing. And a lot of Led Zeppelin in there, most of the records, all the Pink Floyd stuff. And then there was this record, which was Black Sabbath's first. Black Sabbath, which was still wrapped in the film. And I looked at that cover and I was like, well, okay, this is eerie, cool. What is this? So I put it on, I opened it up, put it on. And I was really into looking at the labels and looking at the drawings, and that record being called Black Sabbath and then having on the label the song made me want to go there. I know it's played with a guitar. I have a guitar at home. How do I put it together? So that's the most, I would say, dramatic to memory experience of me saying, okay, music, it's recorded and played with a guitar. I have a guitar, let's go.
Yeah. You remember like buying your first Gibson guitar?
I do. The first Gibson came later, because for the first almost 2.5 to 3 years, I was now learning how to play with that Spanish guitar. And so I learned more sort of classical style, still trying to get those sounds out. It wasn't working. But I do remember going to the store. So I was in Miami. I was playing tennis. I played tennis competitively growing up. And I made $700 playing a tournament in Miami. And immediately grabbed that money and I went to the guitar store.
Yeah.
And I went in and I said, I want that black standard, Gibson Les Paul standard ebony. I want that guitar. And I couldn't afford it. I remember maybe it was like a little over 1,300, and I had $700. But this is, my mind now started to kick in, and I live in Argentina. There's currency controls. Everything there in terms of instruments was at the time around double the price.
Yeah.
So I bought a $700 guitar. I took it down there. 30 days later, I sold it for $1,400, maybe a little more. And then 2 months later, I came back, and it was pretty nerve-wracking because you never know, is that guitar going to still be there? Yeah. But I went to the same store. I went there. The guitar was still there, and I bought my first Gibson.
Oh man, we got a lot of stuff to look at today. I guess we'll start with this one here. Anything before we open the case?
This one is special for many reasons. One is because this is the guitar that my wife got me for my 40th.
I know what this is. I know what this is, yeah.
And the second reason why it's special is because it's the first guitar that I bought from you.
This is how we met.
This is how we met.
All right, let's crack it open. Oh yeah, cherry red. Refresh my memory here.
So 1964, 335, TDC, block inlay, 59 neck, remember that's back in 1964. Yeah. And it's not that far in terms of serials from Clapton's Crossroads.
Yeah.
So this is it. That's the 64 335, first one I bought from you. And
you saw it on Guitar of the Day.
Yeah, I actually was watching your Guitar of the Days for a while before that, and then when finally you popped this one, and you were, I remember, if I remember correctly on that video, you were like, boom, this is the Clapton guitar.
Yeah.
So I called you immediately, and we were like, that's mine.
Yeah. Remember this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We took scans of this guitar when we started to do the new historic custom shop ESs.
This is the model through the scans and creating the digital image, the 3D image, for the custom shop historic collection 64.
The 64. Do you have one of those?
That's the one. And
of course you do.
Most importantly, the reason why I have it is because I wanted a replica, so that if anybody wants to use it, any one of our artists wants to use it 64, I always have a custom shop 64 that they can use. And then if I want to take one out, this one can stay here, and I can take this one out.
Yeah.
So this is number one of the 64 historic collection.
So you can justify owning some of this stuff. Yeah, nice. So all the contours on the top, the neck profile, everything for that guitar and everyone after it all came.
Anyone that has a custom shop, new historic collection, 1964 335 is modeled after mine.
There's a clone of this. Rad. All right, we got a pair, a Cali Girl.
On a Cali Girl case. It just happened to be that when I got this guitar, I got the case, and it's a Cali Girl case. Obviously, it doesn't belong to this guitar. This was supposed to be with a burst.
Yeah, significantly earlier than what's in there. Well, let's do a little dual crackage, shall we? Oh, yeah. Oh. So, what is this?
So
61?
61 Les Paul.
SG Junior.
So, yes. Clearly a cherry in the past. You can see the cherry underneath.
Some tan lines underneath the guard.
When I pulled the guard out, it's all cherry underneath, but it's fully tanned. As you can see, it's browned out. A little bit more cherry on the back. But yeah, as you know, and you've known for many, many years, in 1961, the Les Paul goes to this shape.
Goes to the SG body. What is this?
Then let's get to this.
I know, this has got a story.
So let me give it to you. And this guitar is the one that shouldn't exist. It's a 1962, clearly a Les Paul double cut.
Yeah.
Special. But it shouldn't really exist, because in 1962, the Les Paul, that was that guitar we were making. And as you can see, normally it would say Les Paul Special. It doesn't say anything because the name was taken. So I actually looked it up on the ledger, and it's listed. There's like a batch of 6 of them, serial numbers back to back, and they say SG Special. And that's the first time that I've seen in the ledger that we use the SG name for solid guitar.
Yeah.
So since the Les Paul name was taken, it says SG Special. It doesn't say Les Paul on the headstock. I think that's the birth of the name of the SG. I haven't been able to find it earlier. And then we apply it to the SG in 1964.
Isn't it nice to just have access to the ledgers and just go in and look stuff up?
I'm always, every time I see a guitar that I want to buy, the first thing I do is I go to the ledger, I look it up, make sure it's all good.
Yeah.
You know, Matt Kaler and Jason Davidson and you and I are always on that 4-way text. Every time I find something, I send it to you guys, and then we look it up.
Pair of brown cases.
Pair of brown cases.
Could be anything in here.
Yeah. You want to pop them?
Yeah. Ooh, oh, a TV yellow party. I love a TV yellow party.
Single and double, 57.
I sold you
This one.
this one. Yeah, I remember this too. So yeah, this is, yeah, 57 single cut, 59. Look at how different
Yeah.
the color varies on the TV yellow.
One, you know, some go mustard, some go, you know,
Banana,
preserve the banana. Yeah. They're cool. The checking's cool. I like how the checking goes into all the little dings. It finds its way there. Right?
Great. P90s versus humbuckers. Do you have a preference, or do you just got to have both?
Well, yeah, exactly. You got to have both. I mean, there are such cool, vibey, and different sounds. The humbucker, obviously, it's a humbucker, but to me, the P90 is incredibly special. It just sounds amazing. Yeah. Do
you prefer the double cut to the single cut?
No.
Or you reach for one in any sort of circumstance?
It's completely a random selection based on whatever I'm feeling that day and what I want to play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's right. And I love this neck profile.
Yeah.
On both, by the way.
Can we trade really quick?
Love these necks.
When you think 59 Les Paul, most people wouldn't think. They would think it's bigger than this.
Yeah, no, and it isn't. That's the neck.
Yeah, people think that these are these huge, clubby baseball bat necks, and they're really not. They're very comfortable and just nice and full, but not huge. That's great.
They only got really bigger in 58 and then back down in 59 to this profile.
Which is just perfect. Yeah. Man, that feels great. That one feels great
and
too.
It's got great frets.
Yeah, so, well, big frets by this era. So
this one I need to refret.
Tell me your stance on that. Because obviously as vintage guitars, you start changing stuff, they start losing their value. Where do you stand on refrets?
Refretting everything.
Refret everything is...
Don't
be afraid to refret your guitars if they need to be refretted.
I play my guitars.
Yeah.
And I can't play them unless if the frets are gone, you have to refret them.
Yeah.
So I take them to Joe Glaser and they get refretted. And the amazing job, and then they become the best guitars that you could ever play. Yeah.
More than just an object.
Oh, I'm 100% refret everything you want to play.
Don't be shy about refretting your guitars. It's like changing the oil.
Yeah.
If you put too many miles on it, you got to change the oil. You wear through the frets, you got to change the frets. And these old 50s guitars didn't have huge frets on them to begin with. Right. So when you figure they're 60 plus years old, it's basic maintenance on a fret job. Just take it to somebody who knows what they're doing. Yeah. When did the guitar collecting start happening?
As I started working and making a little bit of money, then I started buying guitars. And maybe it was now, I would say, in my mid to late 20s, where I started buying, I had my Les Paul Custom, but then I bought my second guitar, and then I started buying other guitars. And it was more, as I developed in my professional career and started earning income, and that led to having the ability to buy. And then that took me into this rabbit hole of every time I bought a guitar, you would open it up and see, okay, what's inside? How is this built? What kind of woods are in there? What's the body? What's the top? What are the tone woods used on the fretboard? Why will a tuner make it sound different? And that led to, 130 guitars later.
Yeah. What were you going for initially when you started? Were you going after vintage stuff? Were you going after just putting together a collection of different things, or what were you chasing?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. At the time, it wasn't about vintage. It was about, Tony is playing an SG, so I need to buy an SG. And Slash is playing a Burst, so I want a Burst. And Jerry Cantrell is playing a Les Paul Custom that looks different. It looked red. Okay, I want one of those. And then Hetfield is playing an Explorer. What is that? I need one of those. And Dave Mustaine is playing Vs, and I want a V. And it was more about which artists I was listening to and that I was into, and watching what they were playing, and then acquiring that.
When did you finally get bit by the vintage guitar bug?
That came later. I mean, because as you know, because I was your client, it's vintage guitars are very valuable. So that came a little later. So in my mid-30s was probably when I started buying the first more collectible vintage guitars, and then from there, you buy the first one and maybe it's a special or a junior, and then you go at least Gibsons, and then you go into, all right, that's great, and then I want something else, and then I want something else, and then, or maybe opportunistically something comes up and you buy it. So that's how it developed. And it's really been vintage for me. It's really been the last 10 years.
Yeah. All right. We got another pair of brown cases. We've worked up juniors and specials. I think we're starting to maybe get into the good stuff.
This is where it starts changing, as you know, because we go now into 56 with the gold tops, and now we've got the 2-pneumatic bridge.
We're getting to burst DNA here. All right. Oh, that's crusty.
Vibey, right?
Oh, I love a crusty gold top. Okay, so this is the very near predecessors of burst here. You have a 56 gold top, and then here's a first year standard 57 gold top that is just crusty.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
as vibey as they come, right? I mean, that's just the way I like them.
Oh, it's all green and checking's all deep.
Look at that neck.
Somebody definitely was married.
Or wearing lots of rings.
Yeah. Oh man, killer. Where'd you get this one?
This one actually came from Drew Berlin.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a 56 gold top. As you say, it's the beginning of the burst DNA. And this guitar in particular sounds so good. I don't know what happened to here internally with these P90s and the way that this guitar is aged, but it's got some emotional thing that's wanting to put out that puts a sound that's out of this world.
Yeah. And this one, I remember this one.
Yeah, you know that where we got that one.
This one came from Albert Molinaro, also in Los Angeles. And yeah, that's about as vibey.
And he sent us, remember, the pictures of, or he sent me the pictures of 2 different ones, and one was a little too clean.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, this is the way I want it.
Mint guitars are fun, but
we'll see. I'm mint.
There's mint stuff here too, but I'm a bigger fan of a beat gold top than a mint gold top because they just look so good. That green, killer. Of course, you got PAFs here. Just 2 different takes on basically the exact same guitar, but just worlds apart in terms of tone and what they do.
And what you can tell here also, and I don't know if it comes through on camera, which is what our guys were doing back in the 50s. Somebody sanding this down went a little too far, and so it's got that racetrack around it, whereas this one's a little more subtle.
Yeah.
And it's just every 50s and 60s guitar is different just because there was no consistency.
Each have a fingerprint, man.
Yeah, and so that's so amazing.
Wow, where do you go from here?
Well, let's see.
I know where we go from here. How important is it to you in your current role as president of Gibson to own these examples from the golden era?
Incredibly important. I think it gives me an appreciation of the heritage, the history, particularly the golden era, led by Ted McCarty and his team. And the fact that I went on that journey of trying to acquire instruments made during that era. And it may be even before that, when I started wanting different Gibsons and then wanting to get Gibsons from the golden era. I started reading a lot about what they were doing back then, and so I had this incredible appreciation of what they did back then and how that influenced music across so many genres of music. Before coming into the role, having had the opportunity to own so many Gibsons, it almost makes me feel like a custodian of the brand. You know, I started earlier. I started with my journey of an obsession to get more Gibsons because I wanted the different sounds, and then I wanted to be collecting guitars, and I wanted more.
Yeah.
And now in this position of, you know, influence in writing the next chapter, I think I feel even more interested in buying more, in discovering more, in what's out there that I haven't been able to put my hands on. And it somehow, I don't know how to describe it, but mentally I feel that increases the level of responsibility that I have now as a steward of Gibson in the future. And we are temporary here, right? We're temporary custodians and stewards of Gibson. It should be bigger than all of us. This is a brand that has 127 years of history and will have another 127 years of future. And so we are temporary custodians of the brand, and I'm maybe a temporary custodian of my collection. So I really think that those two things go together.
We just have one solitary brown case now.
There could only be one thing in here.
And it's not a Blackguard Telly.
And it's, exactly.
What do we got? Yikes. Dude, that's clean.
This is a clean 59 burst.
I mean, it's got a little fade on it, but that is, dude, it's barely checked.
Barely, well, yeah, barely checked, barely anything. Look at the
Little fade in here,
Yeah.
but yeah. Wow. Oh, we got some nice kind of center seam flame happening.
There's a bit of a flame going all the way up here.
Right through the seam, yeah. Oh boy.
And the interesting story is that it's a sister, a few serial numbers from something else we're gonna see.
So this is what, 90418.
And we're gonna see.
For those of you keeping track at home, remember that serial number, 90418. Yeah. Man, how many do you think you've had the chance to play?
I probably played 20, 25.
Yeah.
Something like that. And they're all different.
They all have
you kind of fall in love with every single one you play.
Yeah. There's just an aura about these guitars that when you pick it up, it just changes everything about everything that you do.
I haven't had an experience where I said I didn't like the sound of a burst.
But they all do sound
maybe because I got the ones that I got a chance to play were already owned by friends of mine that are collectors, that they've already gone through the selection process, and so maybe that's the case, but they all sound a little different, and they all have something that distinguishes them. And this guitar is actually the birthday burst, because, and I got this one from Drew as well.
This came from Drew.
He played this guitar at the celebration of Les Paul's 100th birthday at BB King's in New York, and then one of his clients bought it, who is the person that then told Drew to sell it. So I bought it from there. But so that's why this one is the birthday burst, because it was played by Drew.
Now, I mean, in comparison, how good are the ones that we're making right now at Custom? Because I've probably played 40 bursts, and I'll take one from the Custom shop any day of the week, man. Yes. They're great guitars.
Yeah.
But what we're doing right now is...
I think we're making the closest
clones
that we, Gibson, in our history and in the history of the Custom shop have ever made. We have the luxury of having the two guys that started the R9 project. Yeah. Keith Medley and Tom Murphy. They did the first R9 in '93, and they're still with us. They're still our engineers and luthiers. Keith is our luthier at Gibson USA and helping the Custom shop. Tom is the luthier and the curator and master artisan of the Murphy Lab. So I do believe that today, if you buy a Custom Shop 59, you're getting the closest that we've ever been. Some might say it sounds better, some might say it's different, some might say the originals, these sound better. That's a matter of opinion.
But then again, like we're talking, every one of these sounds different. So it's like, what are you comparing it against?
And the scans we have of 59 bursts originals, I mean, I think we have probably over 30 now since in the last catalog, 3 years. Yeah. And then we have to create a bit of an average of everything for the R9 that we have out, because as you say, they are a little different.
Yeah, and you hear people talk about, oh, we don't get the top carve right, or we don't. The top carve is coming from scans of original. They're all different.
There's a database of, I want to say, over 60 scans, 30 of which are recent. And that's what we use to do the 59s.
Yeah.
So, because every single one, if we were to show a 3D scan, they're all different.
Yeah, some have a big lip and a big, skate deck around the outside. Some are very, very flattened off.
Exactly.
They're not all the same, and they don't all sound the same. And I don't know, man. I just got one of the Murphy Lab 59s, and just blown away by everything about it. The binding roll, the neck feels like it's been played for 60 years, man.
That's the point. It's the blindfold test, right? It's got to feel right.
Yeah, it's not about looking old. It's about feeling old.
So yeah, the Holy Grail.
But man, that's as nice as they get right there.
There it is.
Killer. Now, when you started at Gibson, you were the CMO, the Chief Merchant Officer. You've recently been named President of Gibson Brands. What's it like to have Ted McCarty's old job?
I always get goosebumps because
that's no joke. I mean,
it is no joke.
Yeah.
It is absolutely no joke, and it's just the ultimate responsibility. There's something bigger in what we're doing other than just the present, and it's looking at Ted and his team, and now that I have his role at Gibson, the level of responsibility and obligation just massively escalated. And I wake up every day and it's like, I gotta be the best custodian and steward of this company. And I don't take it for granted either. I mean, this is an insanely incredible opportunity that I have, and I know that you feel the same way.
I feel the exact same way.
We talk about that every day.
Absolutely.
In your role.
What does your dad do for a living?
He's the president of Gibson Guitars.
Yeah. Is that a pretty cool job to have?
Yes.
Yeah. What do you know about Gibson as a brand?
They make the guitars in a different way that everyone will like them.
Yeah. Now, you've been to the factory before, right?
Yes. And
What's it like watching men and women actually make these things by hand?
It's cool. I like it. We saw when they were spraying them, it was really cool.
When they were putting the finish on them?
Yes.
You got to watch them do a sunburst?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool stuff watching them get to do it, isn't it? Got black cases this time. I normally know what's in those. We've already looked at the standards, the gold top, the burst. Oh man. With or without wiggle stick is the question. How do you like your Les Paul Custom?
I don't have to do that. I don't have to make that decision.
The choice does not have to be made today.
No.
Oh, what do we got here? Okay. I got a 58 Black Beauty with wiggle stick. What's that one there?
59.
59 with the stop tail. Both
6 PAFs.
6 PAFs, 2 guitars and 6 PAFs. That's the way to do it. Both of these have been refretted.
Yes.
Thank God.
Yes.
Because fretless Wonder frets.
No, I cannot.
I can't get around
I
on.
love, and I wish I had the opportunity to meet Les Paul himself.
What are you thinking?
He was the question.
He was thinking I'm playing 13 gauge flat wounds
Yeah.
and I'm not bending strings. But
Correct.
we're bending strings and
we're
not
doing-
playing flat wounds. So we'll take
no.
big frets.
Frets. We need frets. And this in this one I put, I believe these are 43s, the frets.
So they're still narrow, but they're a little bit taller than.
So they're, well, I mean, the fretless Wonders weren't even hitting 20.
Yeah.
So these are 43s.
This
Those
has
are
got
bigger.
like
Those
burst
are,
frets on it.
Those are
Yeah.
burst frets. Yeah, I put burst frets.
I see you got the middle pickup kind of ducked down on both of these. Is
Yeah.
that, do you use the in the middle sound, or is it just kind of, you got to keep it out of your way?
Well, it still works in the middle sound really well, and it actually has a little bit more of that out of phase by taking it
Ducking it down a
down.
little bit.
But that's not the reason why I do it. I do it because I'm so used to playing double humbuckers that I actually hate it otherwise with my pick.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for me to play it. But when it's like this, I got no problem. I can play them, and middle position, accentuated out of phase situation.
Yeah. They're just like the coolest. This is like one of those guitars, like you could be wearing a tuxedo and playing at a country club, and like a black Les Paul Custom is the perfect guitar for you. And on the same hand, you could have like a mohawk and like a leather jacket on and and a black Les Paul Custom is the perfect guitar for you. It transcends all genres. It transcends trends. That's
Yeah.
That's about as sexy.
And everybody's played them from
Les
Les Paul
Paul
to James Hetfield and anybody in between. So
That's a classic, man.
there's something special about them. And then remember when we talked about the serial number of the burst?
Yeah.
Well, look at this one.
90451. That was what, 90418?
Eight.
So we're like less than 33 serial numbers away from the burst.
So these are definitely sisters, but they were hanging for sure in the factory, probably the same
day.
day.
Came off the line on the same day. Unbelievable. And look at that checking.
Yeah,
they just look great.
Well, and these guitars, by the way, have all gone to the Murphy Lab. Every single one of the guitars, they go to Tom, and they all keep learning and keep cataloging and photographing. And every time we get our hands on any guitar made in the 50s and the 60s by an artist, a collector, we ask, we scan, we take them to the lab, they photograph everything, they look at it, how does it feel, how is the checking going, what's the pattern?
Does it wear? Where are the typical areas?
So we get to learn from them.
Oh man.
Yeah, you can see that.
How proud are you of the guitars we're making right now, and what do you think people are going to think 100 years from now when they look back on this current era of Gibson?
Yeah, I couldn't be more proud of our teams and of what we've been able to create in the last almost 3 years. And changing what guitars we are making, how are they made, organizing the team so that we have a team of wood scientists that are out there looking for the best of the woods out there and working with sustainable farmers and having this obsession to search for the best tone woods and looking at how we were making instruments back in the 50s and the 60s, getting inspired by that and building the original collection, building the custom shop historic collection of clones. And a lot of the things that we're going to see today were part of that journey. You know, they came to the custom shop, we scanned, we got collections from other musicians and collectors, and we went through the process of scanning instruments so that we could achieve that level of authenticity and clone status in the historic collection. And it was a lot of work. It was, at the very beginning, I was basically stationed in our factories, working with our teams, making sure that every step of the process we were getting the results we were looking for. And now we have that. We have that sort of organization around an original collection of our good representation of the golden era, of those greatest hits. We have a modern collection where we can explore a little bit. And then in the custom shop, we have the historic collection, and then we have the modern collection across electrics and acoustics. And you and I talked a lot about this initially because you were one of the first ones to join this journey and looking at what were the guitars and how we were going to make them and what was going to go into it. And if you remember, then we, on the whiteboard, we designed the acoustic original and custom shop historic.
I sat in a hotel room one night on a bar napkin and came back the next day and we make a 50s Les Paul and a 60s Les Paul. We should make a 50s J45 and a 60s J45.
Exactly.
You know, all those kinds of things. Coffin case with your name on it.
Yeah.
I'm assuming this is something custom.
It's a very special guitar for me because this guitar was built by my only guitar professor and teacher that I had from age, I'd say 11 to about 15. He was a luthier. He taught me how to play. Then he moved to Spain and made guitars for all the famous Spanish guitarists forever, for decades. I lost track of him. And then he moved to Germany and moved his atelier there. I started making guitars in Germany. And then I found him through social media. We connected. And so we said, and his name is Willy Burgos. And so I said, Willy, I always had this dream of making the Spanish guitar with you because that's how you taught me how to play with the Spanish guitar that I had at home. So we basically embarked on this journey, and it took about 1.5 years to complete because every single piece he made,
He's done by one
other
guy.
than the tuners.
Yeah.
And he made every single thing by hand. The top is German spruce that he's been aging and he's been saving in his workshop for 25 years. And then you'll see the detail of this guitar.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he made the case.
Made the coffin case as well.
Yeah. And so this is to me almost like full circle.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely different from the Spanish guitar that I learned with, but I think it might be the only 24 fret Spanish guitar.
You got to do a 24 fret.
I had to go there. I said, Willie, the one thing we have to do is it's got to be 24 frets. And it's got to have the cutaway so that I can get down, up on the high frets. And I mean, it's just the most beautiful thing. It was just unbelievable.
That's cool. What's the back?
Ebony, ebony back, ebony sides, German spruce, ebony here.
Wow. And this inlay.
Yep,
Pretty
mother
cool.
of pearl. This detail, he had me write my last name, sent it to him, and then he did that in Argentine bronze.
Oh, so that's a bronze
It's
inlay.
inlaid with Argentine bronze.
Wow.
And then the neck here has brown wood, ebony in the middle. I don't remember what that is. But it's a spectacular guitar, and not only it is spectacular, it's emotional for me because it's where everything started with him as my teacher, and then him building me this guitar.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Is this one kept somewhere special in the house?
It stays in here where I have this room always constantly humidified.
Yeah.
So it's been used. Actually, Richie used it. Kiko used it with Dave in the record. And so anytime somebody comes to the house and they start playing it, they always want to borrow it because the sound is all there.
Now be honest, have you ever used the 24th fret?
No.
No.
But it has to be there.
Has to be there. How close are you? Obviously, you're on the business side of this, you're in the office, but how close do you try to stay to the actual production process? How often do you go to the factory?
I'm in the factories, 2 to 3 times a week. I'm always walking around there, working with our luthiers, working with Jim DeCola and Keith Medley and Matt Kaler and Cody Higby and all the guys in the different places. And then I go to Bozeman relatively often because I think it's to me personally, it feels very important, one, just to go there. Because every time I go there, I see something. I look at a headstock, I look at a back, I look at a top, I watch something being made that maybe I want to change, or maybe might inspire me to do something different, or to add something. And then I also have to go there because I'm working with the teams, and so they want to look at prototypes, and we want to be looking at maybe processes, and how can we improve something, or maybe there's an investment we can make in something new for the factories. So for my own satisfaction and to work with the teams, but also the business of it, I'm in the factories a couple times a week.
We got another ES case here, another black one. We saw the 335. I think I know what's in this one. This is going to bring back memories. Oh yeah, Pelham Blue, ES 330. What was it, 67?
Yep.
I believe. Wow.
You remember this guitar?
I think this was the last guitar that I ever sold you.
Yeah.
Which this came from another customer of mine when I was at Norm's named Rich, and he did not want to get rid of it. And I actually had a Pelham Blue SG of his that I had sold, and he brought this in. He's like, I know you can sell this in a day, but make sure that whoever gets it knows what it is. So I never put it out. I stuck it in a case in the back. And you and JC walked into the store. That was the first time we ever met in person. I was like, dude, I got something to show you. And
I remember that. We went to the back and you opened the case, and I that was it. I mean, the moment I saw it, it was done.
Yeah. Which this is what you want Pelham Blue to look like. Which, that top coat goes yellow and then the whole thing turns green, but then you look at the back of the neck and it's like perfectly blue because all that clear coat got played through. And I don't even know what happened up here, but we'll just call it vibe.
That's exactly what it is. That's what happened.
And the binding, look at the binding, how yellow the binding is on it. It's just perfect, man.
What I love about these guitars, well, the clean sounds with just a touch of crunchiness.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know, there's something about them. So that's normally what I go with when I play it. Also, it's my go-to guitar when I don't want to plug in.
The couch guitar.
Yeah.
Because it's perfectly loud enough to sit and accompany yourself on the couch.
Yeah. But look at the back. I mean, are you kidding me?
It's just like, I'm looking at it here. This is green. And then this is like shiny metallic blue. It's just that clear coat.
This is the definition of epic.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. So cool. Rich, it went to a good home, dude. I promise.
Thank you, Rich.
Now, you mentioned earlier Black Sabbath and Megadeth, Alice in Chains, Metallica. You're friends now with all of these guys you grew up idolizing. And more than that, they trust you with their legacy. And what is it like to look at your phone and it's Slash calling, or it's Tony Iommi on line one? Like, what is that like?
It doesn't get, I don't get used to it, if that's the question. And every time I speak with Slash or with Tony or Dave Mustaine or any one of our artists, I don't get desensitized. The fact that I'm in conversation with them, the fact that they trust me commercially, and that we have that level of conversation where, you know, they have this amazing creative juices flowing. And when I talk to Adam Jones, Adam and I talk about a lot of stuff on a very regular basis, and I still feel this sense of massive responsibility towards them, and to be just like I feel like I'm a steward of, and a custodian and a steward of Gibson. I feel the same way about them and their name.
Yeah.
And I also try to be more objective in the way I think about it, because I don't want to let my emotional connection to their music influence a decision. But I think it's worked well, because the passion for what they do that I have, we're able to and you too, and the rest of the teams, were able actually to showcase that. And it makes us want to try harder to do right by them. And I think that was very important initially, also talking to the different teams, was let's make sure that we are paying tribute to the artists that made us relevant. We gotta go there. We have to be artist-centric, because they are the ones ultimately who made our guitars relevant and loved around the world.
This looks like it's got some stories.
Yeah, this is vibey.
Yeah, I guess in a word, vibey would be the one.
So this is a special guitar because it's not only a 1963 Hummingbird that has obviously made a lot of music, as you can see.
Yeah.
But it's also a guitar that was gifted to me by a friend of mine, who has become a very close friend. And it's this is the first guitar when Jason Momoa started making money. He treated himself to a Gibson guitar.
Yeah.
This guitar, 1963 Hummingbird, and he's had it ever since. And he's a great player.
Yeah.
He's not only a great actor and creative and artist at large. He's a great musician.
Yeah.
And so he treated himself to this guitar. And one night we were having dinner here at home, and we've been doing a lot with him. And it was a bit emotional for me, because he pulled this guitar out of the car and brought it to me, and he said, bro, you've done so much for me, and you and Gibson have done so much for me that I want you to have this guitar. And then he told me the story. This was the first guitar that I bought for myself, my first Gibson. Yeah. So I said, look, the only way I accept the gift is that I'm a temporary custodian of this guitar. As soon as your kids start getting good at playing, this guitar goes back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing it's got like this whole fingerboard is inlaid, which I'm assuming this whole fingerboard was replaced, because it's got like pearl binding on it as well.
It's got the pearl binding, brass inlay. It's got a brass nut that was done before Jason bought it.
All of this is how he got it?
How he got it. It had a pickup and it was wired out there.
Yeah.
So I took that out and I had our repair and restoration shop guys fix that.
Yeah.
And
Adjustable saddle was swapped out for a fixed bridge.
so I had them swap that out as well because it was an unstable saddle. And now, I mean, this is just like an insanely amazing guitar. It sounds incredible.
Yeah. It looks incredible. No, it just...
And there's another 63.
Let's go look at that.
This one I got a call from Elliot at Rumble Seed and said I got this guitar with the original case, and he said it's unique because it's a humming dove.
Oh, love these. Only in 63. Yep, there's the maple back.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So Hummingbird appointments on the front, Dove appointments on the back.
You can see the maple.
Yep. So like a Dove, but with a mahogany neck and an adjustable saddle bridge instead of the Tune-o-matic, which is really a fantastic set of specs, but only in 63.
Only in 63. Yeah, look at the checking on how this checking has shown. It's amazing. And it sounds so incredibly different also. It's just a great addition to the collection. I didn't have a humming dove, and when I got the call from Elliot, I was like, I'll be right there.
If Elliot calls about an acoustic, you know it's good, because he's not a big fan of acoustic guitars. But yeah, if he tells you an acoustic is good, it's a good one. Oh man, killer. All right, match set. I know what this set is, but I mean, can we first start off by talking about how rad is pinstriped tweed appointments?
Especially back in 1936.
Just the case, man. It's so cool. All right, go ahead and open it up. Oh, yeah. That's the birth of the electric.
This is the first electric guitar.
Yeah. ES-150, Charlie Christian. The heaviest pickup of all times, but man, it got the job done. And then this is the matching companion.
Yeah. That's
GA-150 or whatever.
That's the GA back in the day, being sold as a pair.
The suitcase. The suitcase, because you gotta take all the back off to, look at that. That's a set right there.
It's cool, and this was a set that my dear friend Bill Goldstein from Will Grace Vintage called me and he said, I just got the raddest thing I've seen in many years. And
so you bought it as a set. You didn't
buy
you didn't buy the amp after the fact.
No, as a set. And when he called me and I said, look, I don't remember where I was, if I was in London or whatever. And I said, just stash them, put them in the vault.
Yeah.
I know I'm buying them, I just want to see them. And so when I came into Will Grace in Miami there in Wynwood, and I was like, are you kidding me? This is the beginning of the electric guitar.
Yeah.
1936, where Charlie Christian, who was this amazing jazz player, he was, how do I amplify my sound beyond having to get closer to the microphone?
Yeah.
And how do that he wanted to play solos. You know, Charlie wanted to be able to play fast solos and be heard.
Be heard, yeah. At that point, it was mostly just chug rhythm stuff on the guitar players. It wasn't really single note things.
And this is the birth, really, of what then becomes the P90.
Yeah, this is in its most primitive form.
Yeah.
And even from a design standpoint, the white outline and the angles, it's just so beautiful. The way the pick guards cut around it, just...
Look at the volume and tone knobs.
Yeah, just all Art Deco. It's just fucking so cool. And the amps sound great too. Does this ever get put down to drop D for tool riffs? Or do you just keep it? This is...
We should try that.
Flat wounds, drop
D. See how it goes. Put it through the rectifier.
Put it through a Badlander. Cool, man. I mean, that's...
And wait, you gotta, because I grabbed it, you gotta feel the neck. Tell me what you feel when you grab the neck there.
Oh, gee. It's like a triangle.
Yeah.
That is like the most severe V My God, yeah. It's like
crazy.
an equilateral triangle.
Yeah.
Nuts. But it works. It works. I mean, that's Gibson history right there. That's music history right there.
It is music history.
That's where guitar goes electric, man. Very, very cool. I gotta be honest, I'm a little upset. Like, I feel like you've been holding out on me.
Yeah. You actually haven't seen these.
This is like a square and wedge shaped case with case covers on them. And I feel like I'm out of the loop here.
I actually, because I thought about this at the last minute, I actually then called the guys to the customs. Let's just bring him over, since they are the approved ones. Look at that.
Oh, dude. So these are the brand new, yet to be released.
These are the golden samples that I approved of the limited edition, collector's edition, 58 Korina V and Explorers. Murphy Lab.
Korina V's and Explorers are back, and they're Murphy Lab. Okay.
You ready?
1, 2, 3. Oh, God, yes. Oh, it's as good as I hoped. Oh, dude, that's sick. Oh, dude, the aging came out great on these. Oh, it's so awesome. Okay. Original examples, right?
Yeah. Well, as you know, we have
a 58.
A 58V in the Gibson vault. Then we got, and then we also checked a couple of other 58Vs that
Multiple scans.
Yeah, we were able to get our hands on these. We were able to get our hands on Explorers. We went to Songbirds also with the scanner and scanned.
Scan stuff from their collection.
And we got stuff in the custom shop, and then that led to, these are actually the golden sample approved on the run.
Yeah.
And Korina, African Limba, that we were able to source from Africa. These two in particular that will come with the historic case and case cover have Brazilian rosewood.
Oh, Brazilian boards too.
And these are the Brazilian boards that we've had now for many, many years, actually decades. So it's pre-convention Brazilian rosewood that we're able to apply and use here in the US.
The other thing I'm looking at here, is that one piece?
It's a single piece Explorer.
One piece Korina body Explorer, and then
Center
seam. Are they all going to be?
Yeah. We're going to do 19 Explorers in 81 Vs, just like we shipped in
original numbers in
1958.
58.
The original numbers are 19 Explorers and the 81 Vs.
Wow.
Yeah, these are
Here, can we trade for a second? This is nuts.
Amazing.
The aging is killer on it.
Well, maybe this is the 67, when I said that's the definition of epic.
Yeah.
I'm confused now.
So there's 81 of these with Brazilian and 19 of those with Brazilian.
We are going to do, beyond these collector's edition, we are going to do Korina Vs.
Just a price list.
With Indian rosewood that we can ship around the world, and without all the, there's case candy. You don't know, do you want to check it out?
What goodies?
Maybe we'll.
Oh, give
me that. And
we got swapped cases. Oh yeah.
Check that out. The original.
So this is a recreation.
This is a recreation of the original
the
strap.
Oh, the Gibson banner?
With the Gibson banner.
Oh, sick. How don't I have one? Why do I not have one of these yet?
With the cable we used to ship with.
This great cable.
Switchcraft.
Oh, man.
And the pigs.
Oh, and the little tin of the teardrop.
There's nothing in there yet.
Oh, we don't have the certs in there yet.
Yeah, with the original tin.
Oh, dude.
To me, the case candy is as important as the guitar. It's got to be exactly like we did it that year.
That year.
And everything we're putting in the case is just like we did it.
Wow. Oh, dude, they even got the back, not the latches, but the hinges right.
The hinges, yeah. Everything, it's exactly the same.
Because those hinges are totally, oh. That's guitar nerdery right there at its finest. Even the hinges were recreated. When can people expect these?
This summer.
this summer?
So soon.
Very soon?
Yeah. They're all getting done right now at the custom shop. So keep an eye because this is going to come out pretty fast.
19 Explorers aren't gonna last.
No.
They're not gonna last very long. The Amazon guy here?
Yeah. I think there's somebody wanting to get in. Let's go check it out.
Check it out.
It's Richie.
Master Cesar.
What are you doing here?
Lord Faulkner.
I just brought your guitar back. What are you doing here?
Hey, it's not like...
It's here. I know what you're doing here. What are you doing here? Oh, let me...
Work, dude. I'm working. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing very well, Just in the area. I just thought I'd bring back...
I thought I'd never see that guitar again.
You almost didn't.
Funny that you're here now because we're looking at guitars.
Looking at guitars,
I knew there was something going on. I knew there was something fishy going on that you didn't invite me for. There's always a party.
In fact, we were just looking at the 58s.
Oh, yeah, you gotta see this.
You gotta see this.
Let's do it.
Come upstairs.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to impose or anything, but I was just in the area. I had no idea you were filming.
Yeah, we got nothing going on.
What's this?
Well, since you're here,
I mean,
you gotta see this.
that's an original. That's an original. That's not an original, is it?
Yeah.
That's
made,
like a...
made in 1958.
No way.
Their brand new custom shop historic collection, Murphy Lab Collector's Edition 58.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, look at that B.
With the cases.
With the proper shaped case as well.
The one that that's also the one that you play.
The 58, yeah.
Yeah, the shape.
Look at that. Look at the checking on it and everything. That's nuts. I'll tell you what, man. You could have totally fooled me if you said that's an original and that was an original. I mean, I wouldn't have known.
Well, we did them based on scans of a lot of originals, and so it's a lot of work. This is basically almost like a 1.5-year project now coming to fruition.
That's spectacular.
You're seeing them just after I got to see them.
Wow, man.
That's
Well, that's an
how
honor.
we're prioritized in the chain, you know.
Well, that's a total honor.
What's this that you brought back?
Well, this I'm bringing this back to Cesar. He lent me it, and this is something that I haven't seen many of. My predecessor used one, KK Downing, one of my all-time favorite guitar players in the world. Michael Schenker used one back in the day. This is a Medallion V, and I think they made these in what, 71?
Yeah, 71 too.
71,
It still has a
72.
medallion on the case.
71 and 72, and I think we only made 350. So when this one came up for sale, I snatched it immediately. This I bought from Elliot at Rumble Seat.
Rumble seat.
Well, I wanted to get it off of you for a week or so, just to, because as I said, I haven't seen many of them. So yeah, here it is. I mean, if that's not Mr. KK Downing on a Sunday morning, I don't know what is, but
How did you like it?
it's killer. It's killer. It's very acoustically vibrant out of the case, and you can always tell. You go in the store and you pick up a guitar without plugging it in. It's loud. Or it's not.
Yeah.
And this one's loud and acoustically vibrant and just a beautiful playing guitar. So I recorded a couple of things with it. So.
And he had we looked at the 62 SG, the one that shouldn't be.
Yeah.
He had that with him for a while as well.
Oh yeah,
We
the
got
one
to
with
use
those
that.
fire P90s.
Mm-hmm.
How is the neck on this? I haven't played this one yet. It's because a lot of these are tiny. Yeah.
This one is small and comfortable. But yeah, it does what it says on the tin. It's beautiful condition, sounds great, pickups are killer, and the medallions match. I heard there was back in the day people would take them off the case and put them on a. Oh, good God!
What's going on?
Hey guys. What's happening? Merry Christmas.
What are you doing here? Let me give this guy a hug.
Let me set these up. What up, buddy?
What's up, Colo?
Oh, great room, God. How did you get
Welcome
my
to
room
the
over
cave.
to your house?
What were these that you just brought back? Might as well look at these.
These were the guitars that we were using on The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, our new album. And
Oh wow.
Holy cow!
Vine.
this is the one we used the most.
Yeah.
This is the
Songwriter.
Songwriter, yeah. And boy, this thing sounded absolutely perfect for what we were trying to do. And we A/B'd a bunch of different acoustics that we had, and it was really hard to narrow it down but towards the very end, it became clear that this was a monster guitar.
Yeah, I was in the studio with Dave a couple of weeks ago, and Rakestraw, the producer, said, "Hey, we're looking for a different sound," and I will try the Songwriter and the J45. I think you were using a Hummingbird.
Yeah, that and the prototype acoustic that we're working
and
on.
Your prototype. So
Right.
we said, hey, try something different. So thank you for bringing them back.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for letting me have them.
Does he charge you a fee? Because he charges me a fee.
Did he?
Yeah.
How much?
$20 a day.
Really?
Yeah. I'd like to knock him down from $30 a day as well, but you still did.
We have to talk about your obsession with Silverburst guitars. When did that happen, and what is driving your obsession with cornering the market on Silverburst right now?
It started with the Brendan Small Thunder Horse.
Thunder Horse, yeah.
And when that guitar came out, I immediately bought it. It just looked cool. It was, to me, like my first experience with a Silverburst.
Yeah.
And I bought that Explorer, and I actually put the Tony Iommi pickups in it. As we talked about earlier, I was always moving things around and opening, so I put the Tony Iommi pickups in it, and that quickly became one of my favorite guitars. And that's when I started then looking at, okay, what else is out there Silverburst? And so I bought a couple of Les Pauls. And then I started now working with Adam.
And now you just got to one-up Adam Jones every time you get...
Adam is Mr. Silverburst, right? I mean, you think of Adam Jones and you think Silverburst, or you say Silverburst and you immediately think of Adam. And so Adam and I started talking a lot about it, and every time we will send each other links when things come up.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want it? Because I'm going to get it. Or like we always check with each other, and we go out and buy them.
We got a lot of Vs. I've never seen a Silverburst V with a
No.
black guard.
With the black garden looking like that that's 82.
It's
so
totally
normally-
unfaded. It hasn't greened
Because
out.
the first one you see there is a 79.
Okay, so this is 79V.
And that's normally what they look like now. They've yellowed out.
Piss burst, we call them. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we can say that. But...
And this one someone had done probably like a string through, so there's a repair there. Now that one, Mark, is 81.
And that's gone kind of green too.
Yeah, so that's also greened and yellowed out.
It's crazy the bumper on these, how high the fingerboard sits above the body.
Wow, true that.
It's huge.
Yeah, it goes from quite a thick
check out
section there to
check
quite
out
a thin section here.
volute on this one. It's the
Volute's
biggest
enormous.
volute I've ever seen.
But this thing,
Looks like almost a good golf grip right there.
Yeah.
that is
Big.
the cleanest
It's
Silverburst.
massive.
And
But
that's
see-
got that headstock. That's kind of like,
That's tiny. Yeah.
that is very tiny and round.
What's that, in early 80s?
This is what, 80, 82?
Oh, with the original, what do you call those, Mark, on the strap buttons?
Diamond
The
strap.
diamond strap button. Check that one out.
But what happens?
With the black.
Well, it's
truss
black
cover,
garden,
too.
black
Yeah, that's
cover.
cool.
Killer.
That headstock looks so alien.
Yeah, round it out.
Yeah.
You've got
Hey,
two Flying V basses.
You have to, right?
Why not? Let me grab one of these.
That one, well, one is I don't remember which one is which, but one is a 79 and
This
the
is
other
an
one
81.
is an 81. Okay, so this one is 79.
Oh man.
It's funny, it says V bass on the cover. It's like I would have had no idea.
Yeah. Never could have told.
So he played one of these, right? He played
He also played a V. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it in the future Gene T-squared collection. We're gonna do a V. Don't start asking when. It's out in the future.
Van Halen.
Yeah, right.
He played that, right?
Did
you
he?
hear that? Yeah,
No,
the
no.
opening riff for Running with the Devil. He played that.
That's the one that kind of started it all down there.
Yeah. This is the one. That's the one I told you earlier, or when we were doing the interview. It's the first Silverburst I got.
And you said you changed the pickups on this.
Right, it's the Thunder Horse that was the Brendan Small
Yeah.
model, and then I put the Tony Iommi pickups in it.
Very cool. So one Explorer, 3 Vs, 2 V basses.
Boy, this is heavy.
Yeah.
How many Les Pauls?
Les Pauls? I don't know.
First off, I'm looking here.
They're also not all here.
Thunder Horse.
Here's the Adam Jones. And for anybody out there wondering who got serial number 7 of the Adam Jones run, it's you.
What do you expect?
Yeah. I'm sure that was a serial number.
They
that
write everything in a 7-time signature.
I don't know
Adam
much
from
about the
Oh, from
Silverburst.
Tool,
Like,
right.
What was when did they first start making them? I have no idea.
78 is
78.
the first year you start seeing Silverburst, and then it kind of runs through mid-80s,
Yeah.
86, maybe 85, 86.
I don't know, 86, 85, yes.
85, but they tend to, for whatever reason, be significantly heavier than anything else. I don't know if it's
It's heavy
something
metal.
in the paint
It's heavy
that
metal.
is making them weigh more, but they have a tone, man, and it's killer. Let me put this back up. Let's have a Silverburst Les Paul party.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I almost let go.
So what is this?
Oh, it is heavy.
That's a 79.
This is a 79, but you've obviously
I uncovered the pickup.
uncovered it, and look at that's like on gold.
Yeah.
There's another 82.
Wow.
It's all, I mean,
Yeah, and they're
bridge
all,
pickup covers are totally overrated.
and all on drop D.
Yeah, they're all.
This is crazy.
And then this one.
And look at the silver here, Mark.
Maple necks too, right?
Oh yeah, like it
That
looks
one, too.
like silver Sharpie, and then you see over here, and it's like gold.
And the one you're
Yeah.
holding as well.
Oh wow,
And
That's
they're
a
all,
1980.
this is an 80.
they're all maple necks, right? For the
Silver.
At this era,
Yeah,
yeah,
I see
maple
that.
necks.
That's awesome.
which I think sounds better. I don't know about you. Gives it a little bit of a bite. I find maple neck.
The maple neck.
Yeah.
Unofficial.
Wait a
Proto.
minute.
Wow.
Oh no!
That's the one you're not supposed to grab. Hey, it's on camera. It's all good.
What's the big deal about this? What?
That's the USA version as
It's just a
opposed to the.
proto, yeah, prototype. Because they're not. That's a standard, and the Silverbursts were always in
On
the
the custom
shop.
The
custom appointed ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
custom
I understand.
How many more
I-
do you intend on?
Well, no, I have 4 or 5 more that are in storage. I actually have another V Silverburst in storage. There's more Vs in storage anyway, beyond just Silverbursts.
Yeah.
I think there's 5 more Silverburst Les Paul customs that I have in storage.
What do you think of this whole guitar collection that your dad's put together?
I think he has a lot of guitars, and I don't ever play the guitar because I don't play it yet, but I play piano to get the guitar started.
If we were going to start playing guitar, would you want to start on a Gibson? Would you want to start on an Epiphone? Or would you want a Kramer? Which one is kind of up your alley?
Gibson?
You want a Gibson? Is there a certain model that you like? Are you a Flying V guy or a Les Paul guy?
The Adam Jones guitar,
Excellent choice, the Adam Jones Silverburst.
yes.
Kid's got good taste. This looks like a newer case.
Newer case, a little smaller.
Yeah,
It's a prototype.
back to prototypes. And freaking Silverburst again. This is Dave's.
Yeah. How rad is this?
Silverburst acoustic with 24 frets.
24 frets.
Freaking Vic Rattlehead on the pickguard.
Big rattlehead on the headstock.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
in. I'm in.
Look at that. Look at
So-
that Silverburst.
This is the prototype of Dave's. So this is basically what, a CF 100.
CF100 body with the CF100 cutaway, slightly altered bracing, opened up a little bit because of the scale and because of the fretboard coming in, which actually we found out makes the sound nicely
Yeah,
balanced,
ended
and
up
so that
working
worked
out.
really well. So yeah, showing you this prototype, but this prototype we're not going to put into production. These were ideas that we were exploring with, maybe for a future limited run.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the Silverburst one. We explored with the black one, with the Bloodburst,
Yeah.
natural finish. We're actually now exploring the Songwriter bigger body also to see how he likes it. Like he used
Said he used that on the record a
my
lot, yeah.
Songwriter on the record. He loved it, so I told him, hey, why don't we make you a bunch of prototypes with that body too and see how you like it with the 24 frets.
Yeah.
So that's what we're working on right now.
But if there's a Silverburst one, I mean, you should. If not you, then who?
Who?
Then who? Yeah.
Here you go.
Bolivian number 2. I probably can guess who has number one.
Number one. Yeah, you probably can guess who's got number 1. Yeah, so we made a couple of these prototypes way before we did the Slash collection, and these actually we made out of the custom shop, and so we sent him a couple, and
Killer.
yep,
Red
number
eye,
2.
man. Do the dance.
Yeah, that's
Deep
Burst dance. Yeah.
58 spec,
Oh yeah, it is. Holy cow.
Vermillion burst.
It's a substantial neck.
Yep.
Comfortable though. Beautiful.
Well, that sticker kind of says it all. This is the, oh yeah, signed by Tony.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
Yeah, this is the prototype, the final approved of that run we did of 50 of Iommi signature custom shop aged replicas of his original guitar, the one that he used to write pretty much, I think all the way through to the 4th record or so.
First 4 albums, yeah.
First 4 albums of Black Sabbath are this guitar. And it was interesting, this guitar, everybody knows that I love Black Sabbath, and that's the reason why I play guitar. And so one day I got called into the custom shop, and everybody was huddled in there in the huddle room. And I walk in, and what's going on? I thought like, oh, you know, something's wrong, and we're gonna miss production or something.
Yeah.
And no, they wanted to present me with this guitar. Like everybody in the custom shop got together, and they said, we want to present this guitar to you because we know that this is, you know, Tony is the reason you play guitar, and this is the final approved Tony Iommi, and we want you to have it. So
Like
The
a
lacquer on the fingerboard.
So he did that, I'm
poly,
guessing,
yeah.
to create more friction, I guess, on the...
To create more height so it wouldn't catch on the thimbles.
you know, he's
Right.
got the leather caps on the
Yeah.
fingertips, and so he did that in order to be able to slide his fingers up and down the fretboard. He thought it would make it easier. Yeah.
How did you get this? Was that like a...
He put that sticker on his original guitar,
How did you get the...
and so we basically did a scan of it.
Ah,
And then recreated it. We actually found the original, whatever the artist that has credit to it,
Yeah.
and we got the approval to use it.
wicked.
And you got a chance that day when we were filming with all these guitars made, and we were talking to Tony. You got a chance to interview Tony.
Yes. Asked him some, questions. We've got some really insightful answers. And he was very much like, people ask me all the time, like, how was it? Was it nerve-wracking? And it's like, no, he was like he made everyone feel so comfortable.
Totally.
I wasn't nervous at all. You know what I mean? I thought I was going to be because it's Tony Iommi, but made everyone feel comfortable. It was very much like two buddies having a conversation about guitar. It was an honor really to do that. So yeah, thanks guys.
Awesome.
All right, we got a burst here. What's significant about this one?
Well, this is ground zero of the Murphy Lab. This is where basically prototype zero of final.
It predates
process.
prototype 1.
Yeah, final
Oh,
process approved.
Look, it's just X,
That's wicked.
X, X, X,
That's
X.
brilliant.
Of the Murphy Lab. This is the first one that we said heavy aged Murphy Lab treatment and process done by Tom in the lab, and that's the one.
I've gotten 3 of these now since the Murphy Lab has launched, and they're just my favorite guitars that I have now. They're so good. They feel so great. The necks, that binding roll is just so broken in.
Ridiculous.
And that's the way it should be, right? I mean, if you do a blindfolded test and you feel the guitar without seeing it, it's got to feel right. It's got to feel like a 60-year-old guitar.
Dude, thank you for having us out, man. That was so much fun. I feel like we only saw like
A little
a fraction of the collection, but we saw some epic stuff, though.
We saw some cool things.
That was amazing. Thank you so much
Hey, my pleasure.
for having us out, man. It was a pleasure. Hey, I'm Mark Agnesi for Gibson TV. I'll see you guys again next time on the next episode of The Collection.